This is Matthew Kratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk a little bit about how Bitcoin maximalists were right. This is not intended as a victory lap, and so we're going to talk about some other very important things as well, including the fate of Crypto.com and the fate of DeFi. But I just want to remind a lot of people of how recently it was that we were hearing all these terrible things about Bitcoin maximalism, and especially how intolerant Bitcoin maximalists are in terms of criticizing crypto. Now, this is a position that has aged quite poorly, but let's just remind ourselves what it looks like. This is an article just from October 11th of 2022 of this year by Dr. Paul J. Dellen Ennis, in which he makes this point. Let me be absolutely clear where I stand. Maximalism is extremely detrimental to crypto, turning it into an endless grind of factionalism. I'd say that hasn't aged too well. And then the other part I wanted to highlight here, the seasoned crypto Joe knows what to expect. And that's the answer to why nobody wants Bitcoiners at their conferences. Why would any other culture want to be berated by a Bitcoiner at an event? It's amazing what a difference a month makes. And for all those people who were steered away from crypto by Bitcoiners, this is definitely looking like a good thing. We remember being told you're closed-minded, you're pushing people away from crypto. Instead, buy my shitcoin or use my BlockFi affiliate code and don't listen to these toxic Bitcoin maxi pads. We can see here, for example, Bitcoin Pirate berating Peter McCormick, saying basically you should not be still pushing BlockFi and Compass when the writing's on the wall. And it turns out that Bitcoin Pirate was correct. I want to do a quick update here on Crypto.com, which I warned about a couple days ago. We've had more stuff come out. Crypto.com yesterday sent $400 million of Ethereum to the wrong address. So we can see what their processing looks like, what their back office looks like. This is a very poorly run company, but it's even worse than that. Prior to launching, this was something I was aware of, but I'd forgotten. Prior to launching Crypto.com, Chris Marszalek ran Insago, a voucher Ponzi scheme. Image below is from an Insago customer trying to get his money back. So this is the background of one of the principals at Crypto.com. And so I'd highly recommend that you be very careful if you have any money there. You really should not be storing any money there. And that's just my personal opinion. Now I wanted to address the people like the bankless folks, and there are a lot of people in DeFi who are desperately trying to recover, and they're trying to spin this as something that just happened, the FTX blow up, as something that happened with regulated centralized companies having nothing to do with DeFi, and nothing could be further from the truth. Here's Ryan Sean Adams from Bankless saying, FTX failed because it was regulated by governments, not by code. DeFi didn't fail because it was already regulated by code. Code is regulation. And then in the next tweet, or the previous tweet, he says we need to get back to decentralization, which was actually never a value in DeFi, as we've been talking about. I think Not Grubles here has a great take on this. All people are like, we need to go back to our decentralization roots. What decentralization roots? Your roots are people cloning the Bitcoin repo and pre-mining 90% of total supply for insiders. Here's the initial token allocation diagram that we've been sharing probably for about 2 years now, showing the amount of pre-mines and pre-sales per coin. When you have a huge pre-mine, it's very, very difficult for your protocol to ever be neutral or decentralized because of that. And now we're seeing the collapse of DeFi. It's not just the collapse of FTX. I think that Ryan Sean Adams is being very misleading here. Ryan Sean Adams has said that nothing has happened to DeFi. DeFi survived this whole thing. I just want to remind everyone how Bitcoin, wrap Bitcoin on Solana and wrap Bitcoin on Ether, which was basically being held by FTX. These pegs have now broken, and wrap Bitcoin on Solana is now trading at $1,457 a coin. Wrapped Ether is trading at about $800 a coin, and this is in contrast to the full value. Bitcoin's currently trading at $16,700, and ETH is at $1,200 roughly. So what has happened here is these were quote unquote DeFi protocols, and unfortunately they were issued by either FTX or Alameda, and so they're not redeemable anymore. So they're trading at less than 10%, or this wrap Bitcoin is trading at less than 10% of its value if it were a sovereign digital asset and not wrapped up in this FTX or Alameda problem. That when Ryan Sean Adams and other DeFi people are talking about back to decentralization, they're talking about going back to protocols like Solana, which is already basically blown up, and back to protocols like Ethereum, because basically DeFi is built on top of Ethereum. And as we pointed out many times, Ethereum is now an OFAC compliant blockchain. 75% of the last blocks over the last 24 hours have been enforcing OFAC, US Treasury compliance and censorship. So this is DeFi in name only. It's the entire space is a complete joke. The entire space is basically a VC scam. And we even have examples like MakerDAO, where they have all this USDC, which is a very centralized token issued by the Circle Consortium. And they've made it even worse by depositing it with Coinbase, as we talked about a couple days ago. So don't be fooled by these bankless guys, these DeFi guys saying back to decentralization. They never had decentralization. This was their idea of decentralization, moving Ethereum to proof of stake so that it could become a state-captured coin, having their stable coins backed by centralized stable coins and then depositing the collateral on Coinbase. DeFi is still decentralized in name only. And remember that Bitcoin is the original decentralized finance. It's the protocol that's going to survive all of this, and it's the protocol that hasn't been contaminated in the same way by all of these grifters and all of these venture capitalists who are now desperately backpedaling, trying to figure out how to spin what has happened. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.